few little areas like this, and that's mainly where some old Bermuda was. You can see the old dead runners right there, and there's grass coming up in there. It's just not thick and robust yet. Robust. What the heck, man? Robust. Look at that. That's robust, ain't it? Man, this is such a pretty place. I mean, a pretty place. Look at that. Holy cow. Oh, yeah. Telling you what, that's your $1 million view right there. Look at that pond right there. Holy cow. It's such a pretty property. Hey there, it's Pete with GCI Turf. I hope you're having a great day today. And I hope you remember this renovation. This thing was 57,000 square feet, something like that. I can't remember. It's a massive yard. It's humongous. So I get asked all the time, hey Pete, can you have a nice yard if it's really big and it's not irrigated? Well, my answer is yes, you can. A little history on this yard. Now, I renovated this about 2 years ago, I believe. It's 2020 October right now, so that would have been 2018 September. We renovated all this. Lots of common Bermuda out here. Very little has come back. It's a little bit down there next to the edge. It's kind of making its way back in, but he actually sprayed it again with Roundup this year. So we renovated 2 years ago. He done his thing for a whole year, mowing it, and then we aerated and seeded last year, and then he done his whole thing for a whole year, mowing and all that. And then about a month ago, maybe 6 weeks ago, I aerated and seeded this myself. I come out here with my Stinger plugger and my aerator and just went to town and really tore it up good. And it looked pretty good then, but nothing like it looks now. I fertilized it with a good starter fertilizer, used X-Start on it, and then used my GCI Turf grass seed, my tall fescue, and we've had some good rain. Obviously that's helped a whole lot, but look at it. It looks really good. I'm really tickled with this. I'm tickled. He said when I emailed him and told him I was coming today, he said, hey, you got some nice, tall, lush, pretty grass to mow. So let's get with it. I've got a lot of leaves. Let's look at this right here. Of course, I want to remove these from the grass just so it looks better. It hadn't been mowed, not the first time since I aerated and seeded. Now look at this area here. If you remember, there used to be a tree right here. We know this tree, and of course he kept it, but he done away with this tree right here and just put grass on it. So, you know, I've got this little trick to where if I see it, if it's gonna cost me a whole lot of time to dump a whole bunch of clippings, I'll mow over the yard one time without the bagger, and then come back and mow over it again with the bagger. And your clippings are considerably less when you do that. So I might just do that, but hey, I'm pumped up and ready. Let's mow. All right, so that quick we quit. Now, in case you're wondering, I know somebody's gonna see this contraption right here and they're gonna say, what the heck are you doing, dude? Well, I didn't want, this is the chute that feeds the vacuum system. It's pretty cool. It's got its own motor back here, so it creates vacuum or suction from back here to pull to put in the hopper, and you get it coming from the deck itself. It's a little bit cumbersome to take all this off right here, so I flipped up the chute collection thingamajiggy, and I not tie strapped it, but I strapped it to hold it up so I can side discharge. Now when I go back over it the second time and bag everything, I'll just flap that down and cut the engine on back there and roll with it. Well, that looks pretty good for the first cut. I mean, I'm tickled. You can see right here is where that old tree was, and it's coming in pretty good. A little bit dry. It ain't raining in a few days. You might want to throw some more water on this. I am going to fertilize the entire property today with a 2505, a high nitrogen that we're trying out, and that will perk that up along with mowing it and the fertilizer. As long as it gets watered in, it will whoop, come to life, and this whole area right here will thicken up good. This right here is what I was talking about. Pretty good looking blend right there. It's got calcium and sulfur in it too. And really all I'm doing is testing out a few new things here and there and seeing how they perform. And so basically I just drop that down. Got a pin I put here. I'm ready to vacuum. Oh, I can live with that. That's pretty clean right there. My little trick worked. You know, the grass is kind of deep, had some leaves here and there. So I just done a normal mowing and kind of ground everything up, chopped everything up. Then went back over the second time with the vacuum and cleaned it up nice. I'm gonna tell you, look at that right there. What about that view? That is absolutely awesome. So hey, can you have a big yard and a nice yard at the same time? Well, absolutely you can. We manage some yards that are really big. This is what, 53 or 57,000 square feet? Shoot, we have some yards that are upwards of 80,000 square feet, and obviously they're not irrigated. It would cost a small fortune to water that much grass, but they look good, and the way they do that is they're on a good strong fertility program, and they watch how they mow during the summertime. Okay, you want to keep that tall fescue tall, start that in the springtime, let it go tall all summer, mow as high as you can possibly mow, 4.5 inches, and you got to depend on the weather a little bit. So it most certainly is possible to have a really large yard and have a nice one at the same time. Now I know there's something real obvious, cost. The bigger the yard, the more fertilizer, the more fungicide, the more humic acid, the more of everything. It is what it is, okay? That's something you can't change, okay? Turf needs a certain amount of food, certain amount of nitrogen, NPK per year. It just needs, it's needy in some ways. It needs things to do well. And when you have a big yard, it costs more because it takes more product. That's just one of the downfalls of it. But I'm in the process of putting together an estate guide. It's going to be a guide specifically for people with really big yards, and it's going to be like a minimalist approach and still give as much possible as we can without breaking the bank and get a good result. So that'll probably be available sometime in January and give you time to get your stuff together and get rolling for next year. So I'm gonna wrap this up, leave you with some more mowing and some flying over and that kind of thing. But man, I'm tickled with the yard. I know this gentleman, he likes the result, turned out really good. And again, we renovated this, complete kill off, started from scratch. And then he's had 2 mowing seasons, and this is the second aeration and overseeding fall that we've had. So a little bit of patience involved when you have a big yard, and this guy's really good at staying off of it during the summertime. I'm real proud of him. He took my advice and he does it. When it gets hot and dry and it don't rain, the grass gets a little looking, he just don't mow it. He goes in there and watches TV or whatever. He may go fishing, I don't know, but he don't mow it, okay? And that's real key during those summer months with tall fescue. So I got to put that fertilizer down real quick before I can go home, and maybe it'll rain between now and maybe we'll come back out here. I'm gonna ask, I'll send him an email and ask him, would he mind if we mow it one more time? And that'll give you a chance to look at it after a fertilizer application, and it hopefully gets rained in and this thing pops then. It's really gonna pop. And then we'll mow it and maybe cross the patterns up and checkerboard it or something like that. Well, hey, I may bring that 95-inch mower out here. This yard's plenty big enough to mow it with a really big mower, so We'll see what he says. Say, I appreciate you watching. Thank you for taking time out of your day, and I'll check you later. I mean, I'm tickled.